God knows your exhaustion. And I'm not talking about the kind of tired a quick nap can solve. I'm speaking of the soul deep, bone heavy, hidden battle kind of weariness. The weight that clings to you even when your face shows a smile and your hands stay busy. You carry loads no one else notices. You shed tears no one else hears. You walk through storms no one else can see. And though the world demands strength from you day after day, inside you quietly ask God, how much longer can I hold on? There come seasons when the burden feels too heavy to bear. You arrive at the end of your own strength. Your prayers seem to echo back without answer. You wait and nothing appears to shift. You plead for response, but only silence meets you. You reach out, yet it feels as though God is distant. But I speak to you today with every ounce of faith in my soul. God sees you. God knows your hurt. God understands your fatigue. And God has not overlooked you. You may not witness His hand at work, but trust that He is moving. When the nights are long and the pain is deep, God is working behind the scenes. When you feel like you have nothing left, God is still pouring out His strength. When you are crying on your pillow and no one knows, God collects every tear. He is not blind to your struggle, and He is not deaf to your prayers. The silence of God does not mean the absence of God. The silence of God does not mean the absence of God. You must learn to trust even when you don't understand. You must learn to wait when your soul is screaming for answers. This is not weakness. This is strength. Strength is not always loud. Sometimes strength is the quiet decision to keep going, to keep trusting, to keep believing that God is still in control. There is a reason God allows us to feel this tiredness. Sometimes God will allow the storm to rage to teach us that peace is not found in calm waters, but in trusting Him during the chaos. Sometimes God will let everything fall apart to show us He is the only one holding us together. God does not promise us a life free of burdens, but He promises that His power is made perfect in our weakness. And that weakness you feel, it is the very doorway through which God will pour His strength. God is never late. He is never distracted. He is never unsure. He is not pacing the floors of heaven wondering what to do about your situation. He has already seen the end from the beginning. He already knows how your story ends. And even though it may feel like you are walking through the valley alone, God is walking beside you. Every breath you take in the middle of your pain is a testament to the strength He is giving you to endure. When you are tired, pray. Not because prayer changes everything instantly, but because prayer anchors your soul to the one who never changes. Prayer is not always about answers. Sometimes it's about alignment. Sometimes God delays the breakthrough to deepen your faith. Sometimes God says wait, not because He is withholding something from you, but because He is preparing something greater for you. You see, there is power in the waiting. Waiting on God is not wasted time. Waiting is where trust is refined. Waiting is where character is built. Waiting is where pride is stripped away. In the waiting you are not being punished. You are being positioned for a greater glory, a deeper faith, and a more unshakable trust in God. The world may rush you, people may forget you, and your mind may betray you, but God remains steady. God remains faithful. The tiredness you feel today is not the end of your journey. It is a turning point. It is a sign that something in you is being stretched. Something in you is growing. God uses the weariness to bring you to your knees, not to destroy you, but to remind you where your true strength comes from. When you reach the end of yourself, you have reached the beginning of God's power. Do not let your tiredness make you forget who your God is. God is the sustainer of the weak. God is the healer of the broken. God is the restorer of the worn out. You may feel empty, but He is full. You may feel lost, but He knows the way. You may feel forgotten, but He has written your name on the palm of His hand. Even when you can't trace His hand, you can trust His heart. Your feelings may lie. Your thoughts may falter, your body may fail, but God is unchanging. He has never abandoned you before, and He won't start now. The night may be dark, but the dawn is coming. You are not stuck. You are being shaped. You are not abandoned. You are being anointed. God has not turned His face from you. He is closer now than ever before. Do not give up because you are tired. Get closer to God because you are tired. Fall into Him. Cry to Him. Speak to Him. Even if all you can say is help me, that prayer whispered from the depth of your soul shakes the heavens. God does not require eloquence. He requires sincerity. He does not demand perfection. He responds to faith, and faith is not always loud. It's the quiet decision to keep praying, to keep trusting, to keep waiting. Some of you are carrying weights that were never yours to carry. You are trying to be everything for everyone, trying to solve every problem, trying to hold your life together in your own strength. But God did not create you to be the savior of your world. God wants you to surrender that burden of lay it at His feet. Let Him carry what you cannot. He is not asking you to figure it all out. He is asking you to trust Him while He does. Your breakthrough may not come today. Your answer may not show up tomorrow. But every time you choose to pray instead of panic, trust instead of tremble, and wait instead of worry, you are planting seeds of faith. And in due season, God will bring the harvest. He will show you why you had to wait. He will reveal the reason behind the silence. He will make all things beautiful in His time. Even when your knees are trembling and your hands are shaking, stand firm in your faith. God has never failed. Not once. And He won't start with you. You may be tired, but you are not defeated. You may be weak, but you are not worthless. You may feel broken, but you are still in the hands of the potter. And the hands of God do not destroy. They rebuild, they reshape, they wreck. So pray. Even if your voice is trembling, pray when you don't feel like it. Pray when your heart is heavy. Pray when you feel like giving up. Because prayer connects you to the power that is greater than anything you face. When you pray, you are declaring that God is still in control. When you pray, you are making war in the spiritual realm. When you pray, mountains begin to tremble and chains begin to break, even if you can't see it yet. And after you've prayed, wait. Don't run ahead of God. Don't try to force what only He can fix. Waiting is not passive, it's active faith. It's trusting that the God who started a good work in you will be faithful to complete it. It's believing that even in the silence He is speaking. Even in the delay He is working. Even in the confusion He is bringing clarity. And while you wait, trust. Trust that God knows what He's doing. Trust that God sees what you can't. Trust that even the pain has a purpose. God is not wasting your suffering. He is using it to carve out a deeper well of wisdom, compassion, and strength inside of you. Every tear is watering the soil of your future. Every trial is preparing the path to your destiny. You may feel like you're in a season of silence, but God is still speaking. You may feel like you're in a season of delay, but God is still moving. You may feel like you're in a season of defeat, but God is preparing your victory. Do not let the enemy convince you that your weariness is a sign that God has left you. The enemy attacks the hardest when he knows God is about to do something great. The tension you feel is the stretching of your faith. The exhaustion you feel is the refining of your spirit. And soon, very soon, God will step in with power. He will make a way where there was no way. He will lift you up out of the pit. He will breathe life into your dry bone. Because that is what God does. God restores. God revives. God renews. When all hope seems lost, God speaks a word and shifts everything. He doesn't need a crowd. He doesn't need applause. He only needs your faith. And your faith, no matter how small, is enough for God to move. You may be tired, but you are still chosen. You may be drained, but you are still called. You may be weak, but you are still being prepared. This tiredness you feel is not in vain. It is the process, and the process is proof that God is still working. He is the author of your story, and He writes with purpose. There is not a single sentence in your life that God does not use for your good. So press on, not in your own strength, but in the strength of God. Walk on not because the road is easy, but because the one who walks with you is greater than anything that stands against you. Speak to your soul and say, God knows, God sees, God cares, God is near. And let that truth be your anchor in every storm. Even when it's hard to believe, choose to believe. Even when it's hard to hope, choose to hope. Even when you feel like quitting, choose to stay. Not because of your own strength, but because of the unshakable truth that God has never lost a battle. Not with anyone, not ever, and He will not lose with you. God knows you are tired, but He is not tired. He does not slumber. He does not grow weary. He holds the universe in His hands, and yet He holds your heart with the same care. So rest in Him, rest in His promise. Rest in His presence, and let your tired soul be renewed, not by the removal of the storm, but by the realization that the God who calms the storm walks with you through it. You see, when your strength runs out, that is not the end. It is the threshold of divine power. That is where the natural ends and the supernatural begins. God does not require your perfection. He requires your surrender. God does not demand that you carry the weight of your world. He invites you to cast it upon Him. This is not weakness. It is wisdom. Wisdom to understand that your capacity has limits. But God is limitless. Your knowledge is partial, but God knows the full picture. And sometimes that tiredness in your soul is God's way of drawing you closer to His wisdom, His timing, His higher ways. There are moments when everything you built in your own strength will begin to crumble, not to destroy you, but to bring you to the foundation that cannot be shaken. God is not in the business of quick fixes and shallow comforts. God is in the business of transformation. When you are exhausted from carrying burdens that were never yours to bear, He doesn't just relieve you. He reshapes you. He removes what's unnecessary. He burns away what's temporary. He cuts away the distractions, the pride, the false dependencies, until all that remains is a vessel ready to be filled with His power. Yes, the waiting is painful. Yes, the silence can feel unbearable. But do not confuse the silence of God with the absence of God. Sometimes the silence is His strategy. Sometimes God steps back not to forsake you, but to strengthen you, to grow your faith, not by what you see, but by what you believe. It is in the darkness that trust is tested. It is in the delays that your devotion is refined. And in the stillness of the soul, God whispers the kind of truths that can only be heard when everything else is quiet. You may not understand why God hasn't answered your cry yet. You may feel like time is running out. that opportunities are slipping through your fingers, but understand this: God is never in a rush. God doesn't work according to human clocks. While you are watching the minutes pass, God is orchestrating eternity. While you are worried about what is slipping away, God is preparing what will never be taken from you. He is not just trying to give you relief. He is shaping your life into something eternal, something holy, something set apart. And if you could see what God is preparing in the invisible, you would stop doubting in the visible. If your eyes could catch just a glimpse of the angels He has assigned to walk with you, you would walk with boldness even in the middle of your fear. If your ears could hear the conversations God has had about your destiny, you would stop comparing yourself to those around you and start honoring the journey He has handcrafted for you. There is no wasted moment in the hands of God. Not a single tear, not a single heartbreak, not a single heartbreak, not a single moment of loneliness is overlooked. Every step you've taken in pain has been recorded by the one who watches over your soul. Every sleepless night has been seen by the one who neither slumbers nor sleeps. And He will repay you not just with comfort but with purpose, not just with blessings but with clarity. God does not owe you anything. Yet in His mercy He chooses to restore everything. But restoration only comes to those who trust the process, not the comfortable process, not the predictable process, but the divine process. A process that often looks like struggle before it looks like success. A process that often feels like breaking before it feels like blessing. But make no mistake, God is the master craftsman. He does not make mistakes with His tool. If He allows the pressure, it is to purify. If He allows the delay, it is to develop. If He allows the pain, it is to prepare. This is the hour to remember that tiredness does not mean defeat. It means you are human. It means you care deeply. It means you have been trying, praying, enduring. But now it's time to stop striving in your own strength and start abiding in God's strength. It's time to stop rehearsing your fears and start declaring your faith. It's time to remember that God did not bring you this far to leave you now. You are still here. That is the proof. You have been through storms that should have drowned you. You have faced trials that could have crushed you. But you're still breathing, still standing, still seeking God. And that is not by accident. That is grace. That is power. That is divine intervention working silently on your behalf. The enemy tried to steal your hope, but God preserved it. The enemy tried to make you quit, but God sustained you. The enemy tried to isolate you in your pain, but God met you there and whispered, "You are not alone." And no, you don't have to have all the answers. You don't need to understand the plan in full. All God asks is that you trust Him with the next step. Not the whole journey, just the next step. You don't need to see the whole staircase, just keep climbing. You don't need to map out the whole future and just stay faithful where you are. That is trust. That is faith. That is surrender. So when your body is weak, let your spirit speak louder. Say to yourself, God is still my strength. When your mind is racing with doubts, let your soul declare, God is still in control. When you feel like quitting, cry out, God, carry me. He will, because He is not a distant force. He is an ever-present helper. He is not just watching from above. He is walking with you, dwelling in the moments you thought no one cared. And you may look around and think others have it easier. You may wonder why your road is harder, but your road is holy. Your struggle has weight because your calling has glory. Your pain is deep because your purpose is greater. And God is preparing you for what others cannot handle. Stop comparing your journey to those who were never meant to walk your path. God handpicked you for something sacred. Don't let fatigue rob you of that revelation. There is a holy fire being lit in the dark places of your soul. A fire that will not be extinguished by hardship. A fire that will not be drowned by despair. It is a fire of endurance, the fire of faith, the fire of spiritual authority that only comes from walking through the valley with God and discovering that He is enough. That is more than enough. You may not feel strong right now, but faith is not a feeling. Faith is a decision. A decision to believe when everything around you says it's over. A decision to hope when hope makes no logical sense. A decision to keep praying, not because of what you see, but because of what you believe God will do. That kind of faith moves mountains. That kind of faith silences the lies of fear. That kind of faith invites God to do the impossible. So no, you don't need to have it all together. You just need to stay connected to the one who holds it all together. You don't need to pretend to be strong. You just need to stay close to the source of strength. You don't need to understand everything. You just need to trust the one who does. God never sleeps. God never gives up. God never changes. And when everything in your world is shifting, shaking, falling apart, God remains the solid ground. You can build your hope on Him. You can anchor your soul in Him. You can place your future in His hands, and you will not be disappointed. So pray even when your voice shakes, even when your faith feels fragile, even when your prayers seem unanswered. Pray, because prayer is not merely conversation. It is communion. It is alignment. It is surrender. And in surrender, peace is found. Not because the struggles disappear, but because God is present within them. And wait not with passivity, but with expectation. Wait not with fear, but with confidence that God has already set in place what your eyes have yet to see. Wait, because His timing is more than just right. It is flawless. His delay is never rejection. It is divine design. And trust. Trust when the winds roar and the waters rise. Trust when companions fail and opportunities close. Trust when every part of you wants to run, to fix, to seize control. Trust that the same God who brought you this far has not led you here to forsake you, but to reveal His nature to you. God knows your exhaustion, and He is not disappointed in your fatigue. He is not upset by your weakness. He is near. He is ready. He is reaching toward you even now. Not with condemnation, but with compassion. Not with frustration, but with faithfulness. And if you reach back, if you give Him your tired soul, your broken dreams, your heavy heart, He will lift you. He will restore you. He will fill you again. 'Cause God is not finished. God is still writing your story. And the chapter you're in may be hard, but it's not the last one. There is still purpose ahead. There is still joy ahead. There is still strength you've yet to walk in, blessings you've yet to see, and peace you've yet to feel. It's coming not because of your effort, but because of God's promise. And God always keeps His promises. There comes a point in every soul's journey when the darkness feels heavier than light, when the silence of the heavens feels louder than any shout, when the soul groans with words that can't be formed. That's not the end. That's the refining. That is where God meets you in ways that logic cannot explain. That is where faith matures, where trust is purified, and where you discover that God is not simply a refuge in times of ease, but a fortress in the hour of your greatest weakness. You learn that peace is not the absence of storms. Peace is the nearness of God while the storm rages on. You cannot measure God's presence by your emotions. Feelings are fleeting. They rise and fall like the tide. But the truth of God is constant. The truth is that He is always near to the brokenhearted. The truth is that God draws closer to the weary. The truth is that when you feel most abandoned, God is closest, carrying you through what you don't even realize would have crushed you without His grace. The battle you didn't see was already fought by the hand you didn't notice. That's how God works. Quietly, deeply, and always with purpose. And what is that purpose? To mold you, to shape you, to anchor you so deeply in faith that no wind can uproot you. God is not concerned with quick comfort. He is after unshakable faith. He is after hearts that will not bow to pressure, souls that will not surrender to discouragement, and minds that will not collapse under confusion. God strengthens those who dare to wait when it would be easier to run. He empowers those who remain still when the world screams for motion, 'cause in that stillness a voice greater than fear begins to rise. A voice that says, "Be still and know it, that God is in control, that God is aware, that nothing has escaped His notice, the long nights, the burdens carried silently, the moments of breakdown behind closed doors. God saw them all, and not a single second of your struggle will go unused. When you trust God, nothing is wasted. The pain becomes preparation. The delay becomes development. The silence becomes sanctification. This is where many turn back. When God doesn't move how they expected or speak when they demanded. But you, if you are to walk in the fullness of God's power, must go deeper beyond your expectations, beyond your deadlines, beyond your understanding. That's where true surrender lives. That's where real power is born. Not in knowing, but in trusting. Not in controlling, but in yielding. When you say, "Even though I don't see the way, I will walk by faith," you are no longer walking in your own strength. You are walking in alignment with the one who formed the path before you ever took a step. Many want the promise, but few are willing to endure the process. But if God allows you to wait, it is because He is forming a strength in you that cannot be taken away by time, by people, or by circumstances. That inner strength doesn't come from books, titles, or even experience. It comes from seasons of complete dependence on God. It is born in the fire of surrender. It grows in the soil of patience, and it shines in the darkness because it was forged in the absence of light. There are things God is doing in you right now that you don't even recognize. He is closing doors to protect you from what you would have chased. He is removing people who are only assigned for a temporary season. He is stripping away distractions to bring clarity to your purpose. Do not despise what you lose in this season, because what God takes away, He replaces with something eternal. You may mourn what is gone, but wait until you see what is coming. Your faith must be bigger than your frustration. Your hope must be louder than your doubt, and your trust in God must be stronger than your impulse to fix everything yourself. There is power in letting go. There is breakthrough in surrender. There is rest in simply saying, "God, I trust you right here, right now, even when nothing makes sense." That prayer will do more for your future than all the plans you've drawn up in your own wisdom. And when God does move, when He opens a door, answers the prayer, lift the weight, there will be no question about where the glory belongs. It won't be your doing. It won't be your timeline. It won't be your strategy. It will be God, completely, unmistakably, undeniably God. And you will look back on this season, this tired, quiet, trembling season, and you will thank Him for not giving you what you thought you needed, because He gave you something far greater, Him. You may be tired, but you are not alone. You may feel weak, but the power of God is perfected in that weakness. You may be waiting, but the weight of that weight is pressing down gold inside of you. Faith that doesn't flinch, courage that doesn't crack, and a fire that doesn't go out. This is the making of a vessel that can carry divine purpose. So don't fear the silence. Lean into it. Don't run from the waiting. Settle into it. Don't resist the process. Yield to it. God knows exactly how to bring you out. And when He does, it'll be better than you imagined, deeper than you prayed for, and greater than what you were settling for. But He cannot bless who you pretend to be. He blesses those who trust Him as they truly are. Tired, honest, broken, surrendered. The world tells you to hustle harder, to grind until you break, to push until something happens. But God says, come to me. Come to me when you're tired. Come to me when you're out of answers. Come to me when nothing is working. Come to me not as a last resort but as your first response. God honors those who put Him above their own understanding, above their own strategy, above their own ambition. He will not let you be ashamed for trusting Him. He will not fail to reward the faith of those who wait on Him. His promises are not fragile. They are eternal. His hand is not weak, it is mighty. His plan is not failing, it is unfolding. And right now, even now, He is whispering into your weary soul, hold on, working. I am weaving. I am watching over you. The tears you cried in secret are known to God. The strength you gave when no one said thank you is remembered by God. The times you forgave, the times you held back your words, the times you chose peace over revenge, God saw them all. And He will reward you in His time, in His way. Let your tiredness bring you closer to God, not farther away. Let your fatigue become the fuel for a deeper reliance. Let your confusion become a call to press into the presence of the only one who truly knows the end from the beginning. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are exactly where God needs you to be, to transform you into who He called you to become. And transformation is never painless, but it is always powerful. Trust that every step you take, even the ones you stumble through, are covered by the mercy of God. Every day you rise again, despite feeling empty, is proof that God is not done with you. You are still in His hand. You are still under His plan. You are still the object of His care. So lift your head not in pride but in confidence. Speak to your soul and declare that the one who formed the heavens is also forming your destiny. You are not stuck. You are stationed. You are not forsaken. You are being fortified. You are not forgotten. You are being fashioned into something glorious. Pray, wait, trust. These are not passive suggestions. They are spiritual weapons. Use them, hold them, cling to them, and watch what God will do. Because when you place your tiredness in His hands, He gives you rest. When you place your weight in His timing, He gives you direction. And when you place your trust in His character, He gives you peace that surpasses all understanding. And that peace, that holy peace, is worth more than anything the world could ever offer. That is the peace of knowing that no matter what comes, you are in the hands of God. And when you are in the hands of God, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. No season of darkness can keep you buried. No amount of pain can disqualify your purpose, because God is not finished. God is moving. God is about to reveal what all of this pain was preparing you for. And when He does, it will be glorious. There is a kind of strength that is born only in the valley. Not the strength of muscles or pride, but the strength of surrender. The kind of strength that looks up to the heavens and says, God, I cannot carry this another day without you. And God honors that. He honors the one who has bowed low in exhaustion, yet refuses to give up. He honors the soul that says, I don't understand, but I will still trust you. That kind of faith moves the heavens. That kind of heart captures the attention of God. Many think that divine favor always looks like prosperity and ease. But there is a deeper favor that often comes dressed in difficulty. It's the favor being chosen to walk through trials so that your faith may shine brighter than gold. It's the favor being hidden while others are celebrated, so that when you are revealed, you stand on something solid. It's the favor being refined in silence, so that when you speak, your words carry weight. Not just opinions, but power. God is not in a rush to showcase what He is still shaping. Do not despise the slow season. Do not curse the waiting, because God does not build shallow things. He takes His time with anything that carries eternal value. And you, beloved of God, are worth that time. Every delay is the divine hand at work. Every closed door is a redirection, not a rejection. Every silent moment is a holy pause that carries more meaning than the noise of 100 quick answers. You see, people may fail to recognize the value of your tears. They may not see the prayers you whisper in the dark. They may not notice the sacrifices you make behind the scenes. But God sees, God knows, God remembers. And when God repays, He repays in full, pressed down, shaken together, and overflowing in ways that no man can measure. His recompense is not limited to material gain. He repays with peace that guards your mind. He repays with favor that no system can block. He repays with purpose that turns past pain into present power. The world tells you to fix everything fast. Patch it up, pretend, push through. But God says, bring it to me. Not the polished version. Bring me the real you. Bring me the weary you. Bring me the confused, broken, uncertain, trembling you. That is the one I want. That is the one I can fill. That is the one I can use, because God does not require strength. He gives it. He does not demand perfection. He perfects. He does not expect you to carry the burden. He invites you to lay it down. And when you lay it down, something begins to happen. Slowly, quietly, but unmistakably, God begins to trade your heaviness for His presence. He begins to exchange your despair for hope, your fear for courage, your tears for the oil of gladness. Not because the situation changed overnight, but because you changed in the middle of it. You are no longer trying to outrun the storm. You are learning to rest in the arms of the one who controls the wind and the wave. This is where true faith lives. Not in the absence of questions, but in the presence of unwavering trust. Faith that says, even if I don't feel it, I believe God is here. Faith that says, even if I don't see the way, I trust God has one. Faith that declares, even if everything falls apart, God remains my anchor. That is the kind of trust that shakes the kingdom of darkness, because it cannot be manipulated. It cannot be stolen. It cannot be crushed. It has been tested and proven. And what a testimony that becomes. Not just to others, but to yourself, to be able to say, I walked through the fire, and I did not burn. I passed through the flood, and I was not swept away. Not because I was strong, but because God carried me. That is power. That is legacy. That is what transforms trials into triumph. You may look at your life and feel like you're going in circles. You may feel like nothing is progressing, like all your prayers have hit a wall. But trust this, God wastes nothing. What looks like delay is often a detour for your protection. What feels like a closed door may be God sealing off a path that leads to destruction. And what feels like obscurity is God building something so sacred within you that it cannot be rushed. When the time is right, what He has placed in you will come forth with fire, with favor, and with authority. But that authority is forged in the quiet places, in the still mornings when you choose prayer over panic, in the long nights when you worship through weeping, in the lonely roads where obedience costs you popularity. That is where your spirit is strengthened. That is where God breathes endurance into your lungs. That is where your heart learns to beat with the rhythm of His will. And when your soul is in tune with God's will, you no longer chase approval. You no longer live for applause. You are led by purpose, not pressure. You are moved by conviction, not convenience. And that is what makes you unshakable. The enemy may try to distract you, discourage you, even delay you, but he cannot destroy what God has built in surrender. So if you are tired, do not see it as a sign of weakness. See it as a call to draw nearer. Let the fatigue drive you to the source, not to despair. Let the tiredness remind you that you were never meant to carry this alone. God is inviting you deeper, not because you failed, but because you're ready for more. More of His wisdom, more of His peace, more of His strength. This is your moment to turn inward and upward, to say with unwavering resolve, God, I give you everything. Not just my success, but my struggle. Not just my gifts, but my grief. Not just my worship, but my weariness. All of it. Take it, shape it, use it. And when you pray like that, heaven hears, the silence shifts. The atmosphere begins to change. Not always around you, but always within you. Because the greatest miracle is not always external. It is internal. It's the miracle of joy and sorrow. The miracle of peace in the middle of chaos. The miracle of standing tall when the weight should have crushed you. That's what God does. He lifts, He builds, He restores. And He does it in such a way that when people look at your life, they won't say, look what they did. They'll say, surely God was with them. So keep praying even when it feels dry. Keep waiting even when it feels endless. Keep trusting even when it feels risky. Because one moment in the presence of God can shift years of pain. One word from God can unlock doors you didn't even know existed. One move of His hand can settle every battle, silence every voice of doubt, and release every delayed blessing. And that moment is coming. Not because of who you are, but because of who God is. Not because you've earned it, but because He is faithful. He is just. He is merciful. And He is reaching for you now. Not just to lift you out, but to bring you through. Not just to change your situation, but to transform you in the middle of it. So rise even if you rise slowly. Speak even if your voice shakes. Hope even if your heart is still healing. Because the God who sustains the stars knows your name, and He is not finished. Not now, not ever. Keep your eyes on Him. Keep your heart open to Him. Keep your life surrendered before Him. For those who wait on God shall never be put to shame. So now I speak to one who is weary, to the soul that has been holding on by a thread, to the heart that has prayed 1,000 times with tears soaking the pillow in the dark. This is not the end for you. This is not your defeat. This is the threshold of something greater. A life anchored not in circumstance, but in the eternal strength of God. You were never meant to walk this path in your own strength. You were created to walk with God, to lean on Him when the road is too heavy, to rest in Him when your soul can go no further. Let today be the day you stop pretending you're fine when your soul is cracking beneath the weight. Let this be the moment you stop carrying what you were never meant to carry alone. God is calling you not to do more, not to prove more, but to surrender, to bring the real you, the tired you, the confused you, the hurting, silent, frustrated, faithful, doubting, waiting you, all of it. God wants you, not your performance, not your perfection, your heart. That as you offer your heart raw and honest, God will meet you there. Not always with immediate answers, but always with undeniable presence. He will breathe into your emptiness. He will speak into your silence. He will light a fire where the ashes have grown cold. You will rise again not because of your own strength, but because the one who created you never left your side. Every ounce of strength you thought was gone, God will restore. Every moment of time you thought was wasted, God will redeem. So here is your call. Return to God not with half-hearted words, but with full surrender. Examine your life. Ask yourself, have I been trying to control what only God can? Have I allowed fear to silence my faith? Have I stopped praying because I assume God stopped listening? Have I placed my trust in temporary things instead of the eternal presence of God? Let this be your awakening. Let this be the holy pause where you drop your burden and take hold of the hand of the one who has always been reaching for you. Renew your purpose, not by chasing what the world applauds, but by pursuing the path God has designed for your soul. You are not here by accident. You are not tired without reason. That weariness is sacred. It's the alarm that it's time to return, to realign, to rest in God again. You've tried doing it on your own. Now watch what happens when you fully trust the one who holds time, breath, and destiny in his hands. Do not leave this moment the same. Allow something within you to awaken and shift. Decide for faith instead of fear. Choose surrender rather than endless struggle. Choose quiet confidence instead of panic. Choose God above all else. And as you do, may your soul be infused with a strength not born of this earth. May your spirit stand with a peace that silences every storm. May your heart ignite again with a holy fire that no weariness, no silence, no delay can put out. Step forward now, not in doubt, but with assurance, not trembling in fear, but steady in faith, not leaning on your own wisdom, but resting fully in the one who knows the end from the beginning. For God knows, God sees, God has received every cry of your heart, and God will respond. Not always on your timeline, but always at the perfect moment. Let this be the threshold, your sacred yes, your divine release. And when the night closes in again, and it will, hold on to this truth. God is still with you. God is still leading you. God is still more than enough. He always has been, and he always will be. My friends, hear me well. There comes a moment in every life when you must see beyond the image someone puts on and discern who they truly are. When no stage lights are glowing, when the audience has left, when the mask begins to slip. Because not every smile is honest, not every gentle word is real, and not every hand stretched out is there to lift you higher. Some extend it only to drag you down. God never commanded you to trust blindly. He called you to walk in wisdom, to test the spirits, to judge by fruit, not by empty words. We live in a world that wears deception like perfume. Pleasant at first scent, but toxic when breathed in too long. And the reason so many are wounded, so many betrayed, is because we judge surface instead of substance. We looked at the exterior and called it good while the inside was rotting. But God does not judge by appearance. He examines the heart, and if you want to see someone's true nature, don't watch how they act when life is easy. Watch how they respond when kindness costs them something. Look when no one is watching. Look when the blessings run out. Then you will know there are 5 things, 5 doors that will show you the soul behind the smile. If you want to protect your peace, your calling, your future, and your spirit, then ask God to open your eyes to these signs. The first, how they treat those who cannot benefit them. The second, how they handle power. The third, how they respond to correction. The fourth, how they treat you when you are no longer useful. And the fifth, how they speak about others when they are not present. Watch these 5 things and God will show you more than years of friendship ever could. Let me tell you, the way someone treats those who have no wealth, no status, no position, it screams the truth of their character. You see, anybody can be polite to king. Anybody can shake hands with someone in power. But watch how they speak to the waiter, the cleaner, the beggar. Because if their heart carries pride, it will eventually touch you too. They will flatter you now, but when your season of favor ends, the same mouth will condemn you. That's why God said he resists the proud, but gives grace to the humble. Do not align your destiny with people who change their tone based on someone's title. They are not loyal to truth. They are loyal to opportunity. And the day you no longer serve their purpose is the day their kindness dries up like a well in the desert. But those who fear God walk in the same love, whether they're standing before a king or a servant. Those are the ones who carry light. Those are the ones God trusts with favor. The second sign, how they handle power. Power doesn't corrupt a person. It exposes them. It draws out what was already hidden beneath the surface. Give a person authority, and you will see what their heart has always longed for. Will they lead with justice, or will they rule with cruelty? Will they be gentle or arrogant? Will they be fair, or will they silence every voice of disagreement? God watches this closely, for he raises leaders not to glorify themselves but to serve the people. If someone becomes bitter, cruel, or prideful when placed in charge, know this: their soul is not aligned with God's will. For the higher God takes you, the lower you should go in humility. And if someone cannot lead with love, they are not worthy to lead at all. Trust is not earned through charisma. It is earned through character, through restraint, through mercy, through truth. You want to know who a person truly is. Don't watch how they act when they have nothing. Watch how they behave when they have control. The third sign, how they respond to correction. A righteous heart will tremble when truth is spoken, not rebel against it. But a proud spirit will defend, deny, and deceive. The word of God says, he who hates correction is stupid. Yes, that's the language God uses. Because to reject truth is to reject, and if a person cannot handle being lovingly corrected, they will not be able to walk in unity, peace, or love. Look at their reaction. Do they listen and reflect, or do they rage and retaliate? Do they repent and realign, or do they twist and attack? Because how someone responds when you lovingly show them truth reveals whether they follow God or their ego. And listen, if someone gets angry every time you draw boundaries, they were never interested in loving you. Godly people are not allergic to accountability. They welcome it. They grow from it. They know it is God's way of sharpening their soul. The fourth sign, how they treat you when you are no longer useful, when your value to them changes. Does their love change too? Because true love is not built on convenience. It is not seasonal. It is not transactional. If someone disappears when your season of abundance ends, know this: they were never with you. They were with your benefits. But those who walk with God will not leave you when you're low. They will not mock your pain. They will not abandon you in your storm. Instead, they will stand beside you even when there is no spotlight. Watch closely, because the people who celebrate you in public may betray you in private. The ones who cheered when you rose may gossip when you fall. And the one who stood closest may be the one who wounds the deepest. That's why God allows certain losses not to punish you but to protect you. He removes people from your life not out of cruelty but out of mercy, because he heard conversations you didn't hear. He saw intentions you didn't see. And when God shows you someone's true character, believe it. And the fifth sign, how they speak about others when they are not in the room. If someone is constantly criticizing, mocking, and gossiping about people who cannot defend themselves, know this: they will do the same to you. The tongue is a weapon of the heart. And if a person finds pleasure in tearing others down, their soul is infected with pride. God hates gossip. He calls it wickedness. The same mouth that flatters you today may poison your reputation tomorrow. Don't align with slanderers. Don't entertain those who feast on rumors. Because the one who loves to expose others is often hiding their own sin. God blesses those who protect, who cover, who build, the one who lifts others even when they are not present. That is the person whose heart is full of light. That is the kind of person you can trust in the dark. My friend, if you want to be wise, pray that God gives you discernment. Not paranoia, not suspicion, but spiritual vision, the ability to see what is unseen. Because not everyone who walks with you is walking for you. Some are there only for the moment of favor. Some are only interested in what you offer, not in who you are. And when the winds change, they will flee. So stop being deceived by good looks and smooth talk. Stop judging character by charisma. Look at these 5 sign up. Ask God to open your eyes. You don't need to search their phone. You don't need to test their loyalty with game. Just watch. Watch how they treat the lowly. Watch how they handle power. Watch how they react to correction. Watch how they treat you when they don't need you. Watch how they talk about others when they're not around. Because when God is preparing to take you higher, He will first teach you who to take with you and who to leave behind. Not because of hatred, not because of revenge, but because of wisdom. Peace is too expensive to share it with those who sow chaos. Destiny is too precious to entrust it to double minds. And your time is too short to waste it on those who walk in the shadows. The truth is, God will often expose what you refuse to see. He will remove what you are trying to hold, because your soul matters too much to Him. And every time He reveals someone's true character, He's not breaking your heart. He's revealing your purpose. He's shifting your circle. He's pruning your path. You asked for blessings, but blessings can't thrive in betrayal. You prayed for peace, but peace cannot grow in deception. You long for favor, but favor flows through clean hands and loyal hearts. So don't fight the pruning. Don't resist the revealing. When someone shows you their true character, believe it. When God shows you, trust Him. He's not trying to hurt you. He's trying to protect you. Let go of the fake and make room for the divine. God is not mocked. He knows every motive, every hidden agenda, every double face, and in due time, He will bring truth to light. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to chase anyone. You don't have to beg for honesty. Just walk in truth. And those who walk with God will walk with you. And those who walk in darkness will flee from the light. Let God be your defender. Let God be your discerner. And He will surround you with those who are pure in heart, faithful in character, and holy in motive. Because at the end of the day, it's not about popularity. It's not about charm. It's not about followers or friends. It's about fruit. God looks for fruit, real fruit, the kind that lasts, the kind that blesses, the kind that reflects His nature. And when you learn to watch these 5 things, you will stop falling into the traps of deceit. You will walk in wisdom, you will guard your spirit, and you will walk with those who reflect the heart of God. Now hear this, and hear it with your spirit, not just your ears. There is no deception more dangerous than the one that wears the mask of goodness. The most dangerous people in your life may not be the loudest enemies, but the quiet pretenders. They sit at your table, they laugh at your jokes, they nod at your vision, but deep inside they carry envy like a sword sharpened in secret. And God in His infinite wisdom will not let you walk blindly into betrayal. He will start revealing what was once hidden, not to hurt you, but to heal you from attaching your soul to what was never real. Let me ask you, Have you ever felt something was off, but you couldn't explain it? A strange unease when someone smiled, a subtle resistance when you shared your dream. That was God whispering to your spirit. Look deeper. That was not paranoia. That was protection. God speaks not always in thunder, but often in the quiet disturbance of your peace. You must learn to recognize it. You must learn to listen to the shift in your spirit when something doesn't align with the light. Do you understand how much God cares for you enough to expose what you refuse to confront? Enough to pull you out of connections that only drained your soul? He is a guardian of your destiny. And before he takes you to higher places, he will inspect the loyalty of those surrounding you. He will not allow serpents to rise with you. That's why sometimes it feels like your circle is shrinking. It's not shrinking, it's being purified. God does not operate in confusion. He does not bless double-mindedness. So when he removes someone, do not try to reattach what God has cut off. The one who mocks you behind closed doors but praises you in public is a liar, not a friend. The one who uses your vulnerability to gain leverage is a manipulator, not a companion. And the one who cannot celebrate you without making it about themselves, mark it. That is not love. God is a God of clarity. And when he opens your eyes to see clearly, it is your responsibility to respond, not retreat back into blindness. Listen, many people confuse kindness with goodness. But kindness can be a performance. Goodness is proven in silence, in sacrifice, in seasons where there's nothing to gain. God sees through every act. He tests the heart. And when he gives you discernment, it is not a suggestion. It is a shield. He is not asking you to hate anyone, but to honor your calling enough to walk in truth. If someone gossips in front of you, they will gossip about you. If someone flatters you excessively, they are likely hiding their true intent. And if someone's character changes the moment pressure is applied, that wasn't growth you saw in them. It was a costume. God doesn't just reveal people when you ask him. Sometimes he reveals people when you stop asking, when you're tired, when you're quiet, when your spirit is surrendered. And in those moments, he will show you the hidden motives behind the mask. There is a loneliness that comes with revelation. When God removes the faults, you will grieve. Not just the person, but the illusion, the image you had of them, the memories, the hopes. But let me tell you something. Better to walk alone with God than to walk with a crowd headed nowhere. Better to stand in the truth, though it stings, than to live in a fantasy that destroys your soul slowly. God is truth, and those who walk with him must walk in truth, even when it's uncomfortable. The heart of God does not change. He is faithful, and his desire for you is not survival but spiritual strength. And that strength is forged in moments of separation. It's forged when you choose to let go of toxic ties that your flesh wanted to keep. When you stop begging people to stay and start praising God for revealing who they are. When you stop trying to fix what God is tearing down, that is where clarity comes. That is where growth begins. That is where your soul starts to breathe again. Let me go deeper. Sometimes the people you are protecting are the very ones working against you. Sometimes the ones you defend in private are planning your downfall in secret. And God in his mercy will shake every false structure until only the real remains. That's why betrayal hurts. It's not just an act of treason, it's the destruction of illusion. But what you gain in return is priceless. You gain truth, you gain discernment, you gain alignment with God's will. Character is not revealed in compliments, it's revealed in conflict. It's not exposed when you're giving someone everything. It's exposed when you set limits. You want to know who loves you. Tell them no. Tell them not now. Tell them you can't be used anymore. Well, and watch. Watch what changes. Watch how they withdraw. Watch how they twist the story. That's when you'll know they didn't love you. They loved your obedience. They didn't love your soul. They loved your service. But when you love God more than the approval of people, you will no longer tolerate emotional parasites. God is not silent when it comes to protection. He speaks through disconnection. He speaks through red flags. He speaks through inner tension. You prayed for peace, didn't you? Then stop chasing those who disturb it. You prayed for strength. Then stop entertaining weakness, disguised as relationships. You ask for clarity. Then stop resisting the truth when it finally shows up. Allow God to finish the healing work he began. Let him remove the infection. Let him cleanse the very atmosphere around you. Often the greatest blessings arrive, wrapped in heartbreak, because it's not only a person leaving. It's the weight of their presence, their control, their spiritual pollution. When God removes them, breathe deeply. Give thanks. You didn't lose a friend. You lost a burden and you overcame it. You chose God instead of ease. You chose truth instead of deception. You chose alignment with heaven instead of dependence on emotion. And for that, heaven celebrates. Many never step fully into their calling because they will not let go of what God already exposed. They cling from routine, from guilt, from fear of being left alone. But hear this clearly. You cannot be faithful to your destiny and to poison at the same time. One must destroy the other. And if you keep carrying what God commanded you to release, don't be shocked when the weight crushes you. Let go before it does. God is not playing games with your destiny. He wants you free, whole, alert, equipped. When God raises you up, he does not do it so you can fit in. He does it so you can stand apart. He does it so you can see what others can't see. So you can speak what others are too afraid to say. So you can walk in purity while others walk in compromise. This is not about arrogance. This is about assignment. You are called to walk in integrity, even if it cost you every fake friend. You are called to be set apart, even if it means standing alone. And in time, God will surround you with people whose hearts beat in rhythm with his. People who speak truth, who honor boundaries, who uplift your soul without draining it. People who love deeply, not strategically. People who protect your name, even when you're not in the room. But before God sends them, he must test you with a counterfeit. He must see if you can recognize what is false. If you will choose truth when it's hard. If you will walk away from what you once begged. That is the refining fire. That is the place where discernment is born. So today, open your eyes. Not just your physical eyes, but your spiritual ones. Ask God to strip away every illusion, to expose every secret agenda, to silence every voice that speaks against your destiny. You don't need to fight in the flesh. Just walk in the light. The truth has its own power. God defends those who walk in righteousness. And in time the masks will fall. The lies will crumble. The fate will scatter, and the truth will stand tall like a pillar that cannot be shaken. Because when you walk with God, you walk in a kingdom that cannot be manipulated, a light that cannot be dimmed, a truth that cannot be denied. Let that be your confidence. Let that be your shield. You don't need everyone to like you. You don't need everyone to understand you. You just need to walk with God and let him reveal what only he can. And now I ask you, how long will you continue giving your trust to those who have not earned it through honor? How many times will you place your peace into the hands of people who only handle it with care when it's convenient? This is not the time to be naive. This is not the season to walk with your spiritual eyes closed. When God gives you the ability to discern, he is handing you armor. He is giving you spiritual intel. He is showing you how to protect what he placed within you. Do not call everyone your friend simply because they stood beside you for a moment. Do not label someone as loyal just because they applauded your success. Loyalty is not measured in the noise of celebration, but in the silence of absence. When you fall, when you weep, when the light dims, who remains? That is where truth reveals itself. God is not interested in relationships that are built on convenience. He is purifying your life from the superficial, the self-serving, and the spiritually shallow. And hear me now, discernment is not suspicion. It is clarity born in the secret place with God. It is not birthed out of fear, but out of deep trust in God's wisdom. Discernment allows you to see patterns when others only see people. It allows you to hear tones behind the words, to feel a shift in spirit that can't be explained by sight. Oh, it's a divine awareness that says something here is not aligned with the light. That's God's whisper, friend. That's Him protecting you. You see, too often we are deceived by appearances, but God is not. God is not impressed with external beauty, eloquent speech, or grand gestures. He measures hearts. He weighs motives. He sees what cannot be posted or performed. And if we are truly walking with God, we must learn to measure people by the same scale. Not by how they serve us in public, but by how they walk when no reward is guaranteed. Not by how loud they are, but by how consistent they remain when all glory fades. Look closely. People can mimic compassion, but they cannot fake consistency. They can mimic empathy, but they cannot replicate integrity. And when you walk in discernment, you'll stop being impressed with charisma. You'll stop being distracted by charm. You'll start valuing character, because character doesn't change with the seasons. Character doesn't vanish in hardship. Character stands firm when pressure comes. And that is the soil in which God plants favor. Let me speak directly to the one who's been wounded, the one who trusted and was betrayed, the one who gave everything and received silence in return. I tell you, God saw it. God recorded every tear. God measured every motive. And what you thought was a season of abandonment was a season of revelation. You didn't lose, it was revealed, and now you walk wiser. Now your vision is sharper. Now your ears are trained for truth. That is not weakness. That is God preparing you to walk in deeper authority. Do not allow bitterness to harden your spirit. Let wisdom rise instead. Let discernment become your companion. Let the fire refine you, not destroy you. Because when God allows exposure, He always intends elevation. When He removes what's fake, He makes room for what's ordained. But you must release your need to hold on to what He is calling you to let go of. Stop mourning over what was revealed. Start praising for what is being rebuilt. The path of discernment is not lonely. It is sacred. It is not cold. It is clear. When you walk with God, you may walk alone at times, but you are never abandoned. His light will guide you. His truth will guard you, and His hand will surround you. You must stop explaining your standards to those who benefit from your confusion. You must stop defending your distance to those who only grew close to devour your peace. Your boundaries are holy. Your discernment is divine, and your spirit belongs to God alone. You don't need everyone to understand your decisions when they are rooted in divine revelation. You don't need the approval of those who are never assigned to your destiny. What you need is the courage to obey what God shows you, to walk away when He reveals, to stand firm when others fall away, to honor His whisper over the noise of popular opinion. That is where your power lives. That is where your anointing grows. Understand this. Spiritual maturity is not how many scriptures you recite. It's how you treat people when there is nothing to gain. It's how you stay faithful to God's instruction when it conflicts with your emotion. It's how you choose alignment over attachment. You cannot walk in the power of God if you continue making room for what is draining you. You cannot carry holy fire while dining with spiritual thieves. God is cleansing your connections. He is severing what you are too afraid to cut. He is making you bold. He is giving you strength to say no. Wisdom to walk away and peace to remain silent when you are misunderstood. That is divine maturity. That is the walk of the spiritually awake. And listen, stop praying for peace while feeding relationships that provoke chaos. Stop asking God to elevate you while holding hands with people who are committed to keeping you small. Stop asking for light while entertaining those who thrive in the shadows. God is not confused. He cannot be mocked. If you truly want what He has for you, then you must release what He never sent to you. The deeper your calling, the stricter your circle, the higher your purpose, the smaller your crew. God doesn't allow clutter around consecration, and when He begins to raise your standard, it will offend those who refuse to rise. But let it offend. Let it shake. Let it break every unholy alliance, because you were not created to fit in. You were created to stand out. You were not born to please everyone. You were chosen to obey God. And when you walk in that clarity, your vision sharpens, your path clears, and your soul breathes freely again. This is not about isolation. This is about sanctification, about separation for the sake of purpose, about choosing alignment with God's ways over approval from man. And the moment you stop compromising, the moment you stop lowering your light just to keep others comfortable, that's the moment God will release you into greater. You are not here to be admired. You are here to be refined. You are not called to blend in. You are called to illuminate. And that light, that truth, that wisdom, it comes from walking with God and allowing Him to open your eyes to what the world calls normal, but He calls poison. When God shows you someone's heart, believe Him. When He removes your comfort, thank Him. And when He whispers, "Not this one," obey Him. There is protection in obedience. There is blessing in surrender. There is destiny in discernment. Walk with God. Keep your spirit clean. Guard your peace. Watch those 5 things. Let the truth of who someone is be seen, not by what they say, but by what they do when nobody's looking, when correction is given, when power is in their hand, when you're no longer beneficial, and when others aren't in the room. And when you see the truth, do not deny it. Walk in it. Trust the one who reveals it. And know this, the path of wisdom is the path where God walks closely beside you, shielding your soul and guiding your every step, not by sight, but by spiritual fire. Let us go even deeper. One of the greatest tragedies in life is not being betrayed. It is refusing to learn from it. When God allows a betrayal, it is not to break your spirit, but to awaken your discernment. It is not just about who turned their back on you. It is about how God is sharpening your vision, strengthening your resolve, and maturing your soul. Because the deeper your purpose, the more precise your perception must be. Not everyone who walks with you deserves access to your heart, your dreams, or your vulnerability. And God in His unmatched wisdom will shake the ground beneath your relationships, so only what is rooted in truth can stand. When God starts shaking, let Him shake. When He starts separating, let Him separate. When He begins revealing hearts, don't turn your face away, because some of the people you're trying to keep are the very ones slowing your spiritual progress. Some of the voices you're trusting are drowning out the voice of God. And some of the hands you're holding are leading you into delay, not destiny. The path you've been praying for is not blocked by the enemy. It's blocked by your refusal to release what God is trying to remove. Understand this. Elevation requires purification. And every time God prepares to take you into a new season, He begins a new cleansing, not just of habits, but of hearts, not just of sin, but of surroundings. Because light cannot fellowship with darkness, and your calling cannot grow where dishonesty thrives. You must be willing to stand alone, if standing alone is what allows you to walk fully with God. You must be willing to be misunderstood, if being misunderstood means you are aligned with divine truth. God does not ask you to please people. He asks you to obey Him. And when obedience feels lonely, remember God walks with those who walk in truth. He fights for those who refuse to compromise. He elevates those who purify their inner circle. This is why He said the way is narrow. The narrow path is not about religious rules. It's about focused obedience, about deliberate detachment from anything that dilutes your spiritual clarity. Stop measuring someone's loyalty by their history. Measure it by their consistency. Stop measuring someone's love by their words. Measure it by their actions when no one is watching. And stop measuring someone's value by how close they are. Measure it by how pure their intentions are. Sometimes the closest person to you is also the most dangerous, not because they're